Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I always say what you are merely thinking. And if you're noticing something different or strange, like way better than my normal videos, it's a lot crisper and cleaner. And no, I didn't get a new camera. I just took off my janky old screen protector, and my friends have been begging me to take that thing off my phone. They're like, Angela, it's totally blurry. What is the matter with you? And wow, I mean, like all of a sudden I'm realizing how awesome my phone is now. So I'm just move this over here real quick. Okay, so if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, share my content with your friends. And every week I write an article on angelasoapbox.com, and all that content is on Angela's Soapbox, including my Raging Elephants radio shows, which are always great fun, and it's an hour, and you can fast forward through the commercials, and it's always relevant. And my articles this week is entitled, I can't even remember what my article is called. Let me think. Last week was about the Rona. This week is, oh, I remember now. Democrats rule the ignorant on fear and emotion, or something to that effect, but I will link it down below. And yes, the Democrats, that's all they have is fear and emotion, because think about it, they can't win any logical arguments at all, because they're the people that, they're the party of science, don't you know? But yet the party of science thinks that you can control your own gender, you can choose it as you wake up every day, that man controls the weather, and also that wearing a piece of paper or a bandana over your face will stop a virus particle that is 0.1 micrograms in size. All of which have absolutely nothing to do with science and actually have to do with political propaganda. But that's the Democrats. That's how they rule the dummies. Anyway, so much to get to, and I always joke that I want to keep my videos under 15 minutes, but we'll see what happens today. As I'm filming this, the worldwide leftist media, at least in America, is actively censoring this massive bombshell story of, Tyrone Biggums, got a little crack, smoke a little crack. I mean, not Tyrone Biggums, Hunter Biden. That's right, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's crackhead son, was stupid enough to leave a MacBook Pro at a repair shop in Delaware, and wouldn't you know it, he never picked it up or paid for it, so it then became the property of the shop owner. Well, funny thing happened. The shop owner opened it up and took a look-see inside and happened to find all kinds of stuff, like, for example, a bunch of pictures of crackhead Biden getting sexually pleasured by different women and smoking crack. But that's not the best part. No, that would just be merely embarrassing for Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, Tyrone Biggums. But what's really exciting that was found on this laptop is a bunch of emails that evidently prove that not only was Hunter Biden using his father's influence to enrich himself with Burisma in the Ukraine, but that Joe Biden knew all about it and was actively involved in it. So for that reason, normally I give away the sea turtle killing plastic straw to a filthy leftist, but this week I'm giving it away in a celebratory fashion, if you will, to Hunter Biden's laptop. So let's take a swig. 3 weeks to go, America. Less than 3 weeks to go until we decide if we're going to get back to American greatness, continue the Trump train on to American greatness, or if it's going to get real bad real quick with Joe Biden, who doesn't know what day it is or where he is half the time, or what he's running for, by the way. He continually says he's running for the Senate. Bless his heart. And the C word, Kamala Harris. And remember, Trump, he was so good. In his rally, I think it was in Pennsylvania the other day, he goes, yeah, Kamala Harris, she's like the other C word, communist. Sure. He said the other C word. I think we know what President Trump was talking about, and I second that emotion. So here's to you, Hunter. Here's to your crackhead ways, and I'm sure it's just one more notch on your belt, Joe Biden. You must be so proud of that crackhead son of yours. And I have a hunch that the media would not be actively censoring this story, and they are doing the most. They are full Orwellian memory holding this thing, and it's unbelievable to watch. I'm sure this video will be memory hold shortly, but don't worry, I'll get it back up and I'll just put a different name on it, and we'll see if we can, you know, sneak back past the censors doing that. But I just have a hunch that if it was Don Jr. who left his laptop at a repair shop, and in that laptop, it was a lot of pictures of him smoking crack and getting sexually serviced. And also a bunch of emails talking about how Donald Trump was going to use his influence to enrich the Trump family. I have a feeling that the media might think that was a big deal and may not be censoring that story. But they're always doing the most for the Democrats, aren't they? God, they suck. Anyway, I really do hope that Americans are awake. I think they are. I hope they are. We shall see. Also this week, a couple days ago, President Trump retweeted a story that hasn't been vetted completely yet, so I'm not going to really jump into it 100%. You know what I'm talking about. It's about Benghazi and bin Laden and Hillary Clinton, Biden, Obama, and the $152 billion that the Obama administration gave to Iran for some strange reason. I just don't understand why. But allegedly, it might have something to do with a body double, and that Iran might have known what the Obama administration was up to with a certain body double. But we will see if that story pans out. It is strange that Trump retweeted it, though, isn't it? I mean, for all those people who say, he's crazy, he's stupid, Obama didn't spy on your campaign, you're out of your mind. Well, it's strange, isn't it? Everything that Trump talks about turns out to be 100% true. Turns out to be, oh yes, they did spy on his campaign. Oh yes, not only that, but they were working with foreign governments to do it. They were working with the CIA. They were working with the FBI. And Hillary Clinton not only bought and paid for the Steele dossier, but she informed the Obama administration that that's exactly what was going on. And then they used the FISA court to torment American citizens to try and entrap President Trump and people working for him. It's called the wrap-up smear. Nancy Pelosi let that little thing out of her witch hat. The wrap-up smear is you make something up, you for example, the Steele dossier, and then you peddle it to certain FBI agents to say, maybe we should look at this. This looks very serious. And then those FBI agents somehow leak it to the press. And then the press is like, well, this is just outrageous. We absolutely must investigate this. Our democracy is at stake. That's how the wrap-up smear goes. And that's exactly what happened to President Trump. And if there's any justice at all, our media monopolies are going to be broken up. Google's going to be broken up. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. Amazon, break them up. The clear monopoly of, if there's 6 basic companies that run our worldwide information, that's a problem, considering that these 6 companies are censoring actual news stories and stories that might question the Rona narrative that the left-wing media is pushing. And speaking of that, before we get to Amy Coney Barrett, there's really not much to say about that except that she's amazing, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about this Gallup study that was released. There was a poll done of Americans' attitudes about the coronavirus. And I don't know, spoiler alert. I'm just gonna give you a spoiler alert. Democrats and Republicans have really different feelings about the Rona. For example, Democrats who listen to, the tinkling piano music and the commercials of, oh, if you want to save lives, you better stay home. You better shut down. You better wear a mask. All those dummies are Democrats. So the people who think that wearing a piece of paper over your mouth is going to stop the coronavirus are also the same people who are like, oh my God, Trump is killing people with his rallies. Oh my God, he's a super spreader. No, Trump is out doing his rally, showing you that yes, life goes on and you can beat the Rona. And in fact, the Rona is not as deadly as all these people are telling us it was, because actually only 6% of deaths were actually caused by coronavirus. The other 94% were caused with coronavirus. You know that little scam that they've been running. But anyway, speaking of the rallies, Trump has been, man, give him like 3 days to rest, and he's like better than ever. And he's like, I'm gonna kiss and hug all of you, and I'm immune so I can. And I just love that he's saying, I want the American people to experience the healing that I had. I'm gonna make sure all Americans have this. But the media is doing their level best again to silence and suppress that information as well, because once they realize that there's a cure, the panic dies. The panic stops. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to vote by mail. You don't have to shut anything down. The fact that they are now saying, the WHO is now saying, oh, these lockdowns, I think this was a bad idea. They're doing it for one reason. They think Biden's going to win. And so when Biden wins, Biden's going to say, oh, I'm listening to the scientists and we can open back up. That's exactly why they're doing it right now, because they believe the polls. And look, I'm just going to say this. I don't know what's going to happen on November 3rd, or, however long it takes to declare a winner, which the Democrats would do in perpetuity. But my gut is cautiously optimistic. I feel like I did 4 years ago. The confusion I feel is the disparity of the polls to what I'm seeing with my own eyes and hearing with my own ears. And I think a lot of Americans are feeling that way, where we're like, these polls are just wildly showing this Biden landslide, and yet 2 people show up to a Biden event. 1 person shows up to a Biden event. 6 people show up to a Biden event, and they're all media. And speaking of the media, one local reporter actually had the audacity to ask Joe Biden, when is he going to tell people his opinion on court packing? And Biden said, well, the voters don't deserve to know that information. So, yes, rubes, continue to vote Democrat. Look, if we don't win in a landslide and we don't take all 3 chambers of government, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, we have to win it all, and we have to win it all decisively. And again, I'm cautiously optimistic, because I think America has seen in the past, certainly 6 months alone, Democrats have gotten very cocky because they think that America is with them. They watch their stupid tinkling piano music commercials, and they look at these polls and they think, oh, Americans think that Trump completely blew coronavirus, and that's the only issue that matters. Well, it's not the only issue that matters, and he didn't blow coronavirus, not by a long shot. Remember, the Obama administration completely depleted PPE, the stockpiles of ventilators, and medical supplies. So Trump had to redo all of that. Then when he shut down the borders with China and Europe, especially China, they called him a xenophobe and a racist. And Nancy Pelosi went out to Chinatown and hugged a bunch of Asian people to show she wasn't a racist. And then, of course, Nancy Pelosi goes into a hair salon and gets her hair did without a mask on. And, just all the scams, the scam after scam after scam. And the media, although they've done their level best to put a clamp down on it, to censor us, to stop us from talking, to stop us from sharing information is getting out. And I think what we're going to see on Election Day, I pray, is the biggest landslide since Ronald Reagan. I don't ever think we're going to have the kind of 49 state landslide that Reagan experienced, because we're just too polarized now and our media is so corrupt. But I do think we could certainly get an electoral college landslide. So fingers crossed, and I pray that we hold the Senate and take back the House. Okay. Looking at my notes here. Okay. Before we get to Amy Coney Barrett, I want to give you a little anecdote about my early voting experience yesterday in Texas. I went to my polling place, and the line was quite long. It was about 2 p.m. I waited about 30 minutes. So it wasn't, insane, but pretty long line for 2 p.m. on the first day of early voting. And my sister said that at 8 a.m. at her early voting place, their line was it was like a 2 to 3 hour wait. She asked someone, how long you've been standing in line? They're like, 2 hours. So what that tells me is that the Trump voter is taking very seriously the idea of voting in person. And if the dumb Democrats want to go ahead and do their mail-in ballots, and maybe it gets lost and maybe it doesn't get counted. But remember, Democrat votes will get counted. That'll be fine. But Republicans are not stupid like Democrats. So they're going to go and vote in person. And by the way, show your ID, because it's not racist to show an ID to vote, because it's not racist to show an ID to board an airplane or rent an apartment or buy booze or cigarettes or get insurance or anything else. So it's not racist to show your ID to vote either. And thank God Texas at least is doing that right. All right, Amy Barrett. I don't have that much to say, except that the Democrats have nothing. And I mean, I guess it's possible that tomorrow Mazie Rona will go, someone just came to me and said that you sexually assaulted them in high school, and I want to know if you think that's important that the voters know that you sexually assaulted someone. Don't know if it's a boy or a girl, because remember, gender is fluid. And also Miss Bear, also Judge Barrett, sexual preference is racist and bigoted against LGBTQXYZ to say. If you didn't know what I was doing Mazie Rona, who is about the stupidest person to ever be in the Senate, bar none. I mean, she's up there with Maxine Waters stupid and Cory Booker stupid. Someone said the other day, well, can't Tulsi Gabbard just take over one of the Hawaii Senate seats? And yeah, I'd still be a Democrat, but she's not insane. Anyway, Mazie Rona is a horrible human being. Cory Booker is a horrible human being. Sheldon Wisehouse is a horrible human being. Dick Durbin is a horrible human being. And every single member of the Democrat side, Kamala Harris is a horrible human being and one of the biggest raging seas on the planet. Next to Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, they're like Shakespeare's three witches. The three witches of Macbeth. Those three. What beauties, as President Trump would say. Anyway, Amy Coney Barrett is so amazing, she doesn't even need notes. They're like throwing these obscure cases at her, and she's like, oh, you mean Duran versus Pickenpocker? Oh, yes. The court found 7-3 that Pickenpocker was blah, 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 blah. Obscure case after obscure case, and she literally has no notes about all of them. She's pretty impressive, and I love that President Trump saved her for the Ginsburg seat. It's just one beat down after the other. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said a few minutes ago, we have less than 3 weeks to go. This is the most important election of our lifetime. I know that you know that. I know that if you're watching this, you know that. And if you're watching this and hate me, I don't care, because I despise you as well. I despise the left. You are destroyers of this country. You are destroyers of our culture. You are destroyers of the American way of life. And let me tell you something, filthy leftists. We're all coming for you. You're not going to come and ruin anybody else's neighborhoods or businesses or livelihoods, because once this election is over, the boot of the American people is going on your neck, filthy leftists. So enjoy your little riots while you can, because on November 4th, it's Insurrection Act time. That's my prediction. Anyway, I will see you guys next week, and stay tuned for more exciting things going on. I mean, there's just nothing's really going on, is there, America? Nothing at all in the past 4 years. I mean, I can't even tell you what my video was about last week. That's how much has happened. That's how fast everything is moving. But, I am still banned on Twitter, so they're still censoring me. They're doing the most. And I'm sure this, like I said, this video will be memory hold shortly. So watch it while you can. See you next week. Bye.